What's going on, everybody? David here. Today we're going to talk about safety when you're traveling. In light of the few events that we've had happen in the last couple of months, we had 3 people in the Dominican Republic that died of a mysterious illness. We had a woman that was beaten at a resort in the Dominican Republic. And then in the Dominican Republic, we had David Ortiz get shot in the back. So all those things have happened within the last couple of months. Now, am I alarmed? Am I in a panic? Will I ever go to the Dominican Republic? Yes, I'll still go to the Dominican Republic. I haven't been there yet. I definitely want to visit there. Things happen. It's unfortunate, and it's very unfortunate in this situation, especially to the family members who've lost their loved ones. You know, I'm very sorry for that. And I think it's a good time for us to talk a little bit about safety when you travel to different countries. Some of the things you can't avoid. You can't avoid being poisoned. I mean, it's really kind of hard to avoid that because you don't expect that. You're eating food or what have you. You're not going to expect to be poisoned. As far as being in a situation where you're beaten, I mean, that's hard. That's hard to avoid as well. There's certain things that you can do, though, to kind of at least make you aware of certain situations. If you're in a resort, most of us, when we go to a resort, we feel comfortable at a resort. And that's the way they're designed. So you feel that you can kind of let your guard down and be on vacation and relax. So that's another situation where it's hard to avoid, but there's certain things that you can do to kind of help you when it comes to that, as well as what happened with David Ortiz, where he was shot in the back. He's sitting at a restaurant, someone walks up on him and shoots him in the back and then takes off. So tough situations. These type of incidents happen all over the world, okay, and the U.S. included. So when we look at things like this, I know sometimes we'll look at situations and we'll just think, oh, this is crazy. I'm never going to this country. But we're not looking at the big picture. This stuff happens on the news every day. I can turn on the news every day and I can see that someone was shot to death or someone was beaten or someone died of an illness, poisoned or something like that. Every day this stuff goes on in the U.S. So we really need to put it in perspective. But there are certain things, and I'm going to go over some of the different things that I do when I travel to kind of help me, put me a little bit at ease and help me avoid certain situations that I could be prone to if I don't do the research and things like that. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I want to talk about is just preparing for a trip. So let's say I book my airfare. Once I book my airfare, then I need to start doing research. And even before I book my airfare, in some cases, I will do research. If I don't know anything about the country, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to get on Google, I'm going to type in some different searches, try to pull up some local articles. If those articles aren't in English, I can always translate them with Google Translate. That's the first thing that I want to do. And then I'll get on the travel.state.gov website, and they have travel advisories. So if it's a country that I'm traveling to, they will tell you, okay, these are the places where you should avoid. So you'll know, okay, if I want to go to this place, it's probably not a good place to go because the travel advisory on the government website says use extreme caution in that area. So maybe it's a place that I can pass up and go somewhere else and enjoy my vacation. So that's great. A really great resource. So you always want to get on there. They also have a program, a STEP program. And this STEP program, you just go ahead and fill it out. It's an application, kind of an application thing. You sign up and you just let them know. You're letting the U.S. Embassy know that you will be in whatever country it is. That way, if something were to go wrong, they know that you're there, they have record of you being there, and then they can take the steps to try to locate you in case of civil unrest or something like that. So that's really good. STEP program, I would highly recommend just signing up for that if you are traveling abroad. Okay, so the second thing I want to talk about is things to bring. So this is prior to travel, right? So we've booked our airfare, we've checked out the location, so we kind of know where we want to stay, we booked our hotel, and now we're looking at what to bring. And I don't bring flashy stuff when I travel. Okay, so I don't bring a lot of jewelry. I don't bring expensive watches or anything like that. I avoid that stuff. There's no reason for me to bring that stuff. I'm not trying to impress anybody when I go on vacation. I'm there to relax and have a good time. So I will bring my normal clothes that I wear, but I'm not going to be flashy. That's one thing that I won't do. The other thing that I bring is a doorstop. And this might sound a little strange, but a doorstop can really save you in certain situations. So what I do is when I get into my hotel room, if I'm there for the night, I will put that doorstop under the door. So now that gives me kind of three different elements that they need to break into in order to get through that front door. Now, I'm not saying a doorstop is going to stop an intruder, but it will slow them down. So you have the lock, they get past the lock, they usually have you'll usually have that second little mechanism that kind of, the little, either the chain or they have the other little locking mechanism. They can still defeat that as well. So if they get through the key, if they open the door, then they have that will hold them, and they also have a doorstop that's going to keep them from just pushing their way in. So it'll give me a little bit of time to react. I can make a phone call if I need to call for help, call down the front desk, call wherever I need to call to try to get some help, and then I can try to plan my escape or plan my situation from that point. So those are the things that I bring. I don't bring flashy stuff. I'll bring normal clothes, just normal clothes that I wear every day. And then I'll also bring a doorstop. And doorstops, you can buy it for $2 or less at a department store, and it could save your life. So just think of it that way. Okay, so the third thing that I do is I download Google Maps. So if you don't know, you have the regular Google Maps that you use with your data, but you can also download a section of a city. That way you can have Google Maps offline, so you don't have to have any type of a connection to navigate. And it does turn by turn. So what I usually will do is when I get into a taxi, and I always take taxis or Uber. I never drive when I'm traveling. Part of the thing when you're on vacation, I want to enjoy myself. So I don't want to have to deal with traffic. I don't want to have to deal with driving. So I will take a taxi. It's usually worth it. It's not that expensive to take a cab or take Uber. So that's what I do. Now, when I get in the vehicle, I will use the Google Maps. So I'll turn Google Maps on, and it'll do the turn by turn. And like I said, you can be offline, so you don't have to have any internet connection. So I have the Google Maps going, and I can know exactly where this person's going. I'm telling them, okay, this is where we need to go. You can put that in the Google Maps, just like regular Google Maps. Just put it in there, driving directions. It will take you exactly there. So if they start veering off and going to some different areas, I can tell them, no, you need to go this way, you need to go that way. And sometimes they do that just so they can get a little bit more out of their fare on you. But they might be doing it for other reasons, right? They could be trying to take you somewhere or try to kidnap you or what have you. And I'm not trying to scare you, but just these type of things, they prepare you. And if a taxi driver is thinking about doing something, charging you extra money by taking you the long route and all that, they will wise up if they see that you have your phone open and they see that the directions, what direction you're supposed to be going in. So that's another thing I do. Google Maps, it's crucial. Download Google Maps. Okay, so the fourth thing that I want to talk about, and this is before you actually travel to the destination, is you explore. So I explore a little bit more. So now I have my airfare, I've picked my hotel, and so now I want to see what's in the immediate area. So are there police stations there? Are there hospitals there? Those are the two major things that I want to find out. And so what I'll do is I'll get on Google Maps, do the street view, and then just kind of go up and down the street. And actually, Google's really great because all you need to do is type in police station, and they will show you all the police stations in the area. Type in hospital, it'll show you all the different hospitals in the area. And you can also just print that out just so you have it for reference, so you can go back to it at any point. So you'll know exactly what's in that area. And then the Google Maps, as we talked about in step 3, where you can download that, you can also pull that up on there as well. But I don't like to rely on my phone, because if your phone battery's low or your phone goes dead, now at least you have a hard copy of the area, so you kind of know where to go in case of emergencies. And step number 5. Now, this is something that not a lot of people know. If you don't travel that much, you might not know, but 911 is an emergency for the U.S., but in certain countries, 911 is not the emergency number. So you need to know what the emergency number is in that location, because you don't want to be in a situation where you see something or you become a victim of something and you're calling 911 and it's not going anywhere. So make sure before you get out and travel, you know what the number is for emergencies. because that's very crucial, very, very important. Okay, number 6. Now I'm going a little bit out of order, I realize that, but we're going back to hotels. So before you book your hotel, you want to do a little research on the hotel. Find out if they have restricted access to guests only. So if they have that restricted access to guests only, it means that you either have to have your card key, put your card key in a little slot in order to go up the elevator, or they'll have a guard that's standing by at the elevator so they can check your key before you go up. Things like that. Now these things, they're not going to completely eliminate criminals coming into the hotel, but it does help. And if criminals know that these things are in place, a lot of them will just go to the next hotel. So that's something to really focus on. You can just call the hotel and ask them if they have restricted access, and they'll explain to you what their procedure is and how that works. You also want to look for cameras too. Do they have cameras in the building? You can call the front desk and ask them if there are cameras there. So you want to do a little bit of research before you go. And if it's Airbnbs, it's a little more risky when you do the Airbnbs. But like I said, if you do your research and you kind of know the different communities by doing your research, and you know this is probably a safer community, or this Airbnb's right next to a police station, that can help out a lot as well. Okay, so number 7, we're going to go back to taxis. So we'll talk a little bit about taxis now, and a little bit more in depth about taxis. So like I said, I take taxis or I'll take Uber. And when I take a taxi, first off, I want to make sure it's a legit taxi. Okay, so usually taxis have identifying marks. Usually they're yellow or what have you. But you can do a little research to find out. For example, like in Colombia, the transportation vehicles all have white license plates. Okay, so if it doesn't have a white license plate, you know it's not a transportation vehicle. So even if it doesn't look like a taxi, but it has a white license plate, it's a transportation vehicle, so it's safe to take. But you don't want to just jump in any vehicle and not know, and then end up in a situation that you don't want to be, that you were trying to avoid, being a victim or something like that. So just think along those lines. Uber's another situation where if it's not legal in that country, they might still allow you to take Uber, but they're not gonna show you that they have Uber. You're not gonna see the little logo or anything in the window, so you're not going to know. It's just going to be a random car that comes by and says, "Hey, are you so-and-so?" And then you jump in the car and go. So be mindful of that. Now, once you get in the vehicle, there's certain things that I do, and I talked a little bit about the Google Maps. I will pull up Google Maps. I'll do the turn-by-turn, so I know exactly where I'm going, and he knows exactly where I'm going, and he knows that I know exactly where I'm going. So those are some things that I do. I also will sit in the front seat. So if it's me and a buddy or me and family, one of us will always sit in the front seat. Usually it's me. I'm sitting in the front seat just to make sure that he knows that, hey, I'm there, I'm aware. You don't want to fall asleep or anything like that. Just make sure you're aware of your surroundings when you get in a taxi or an Uber or whatever transportation that you're driving in. And one other thing too, and a lot of people do this, I don't know why, when you go on vacation, you don't put your seatbelt on when you get in a taxi. Always put your seatbelt on. You're going to go to some countries and you're going to realize you thought people drove bad in the U.S., but you'll get in other countries and it's just insane how crazy people drive. So make sure you put that seatbelt on. The last thing that you want to have happen is for you to get in a car accident, get injured or something when you're on vacation. First off, it's going to ruin your whole vacation, and then you might end up having to come out of the pocket a lot of money, because if you don't have insurance, you're going to have to pay out of pocket in order for them to help you and for you to get home. So things to think about: put that seatbelt on. It takes a second, and it can save your life as well as save you from some real heartache in the future. And one more thing about when you get in a cab, you always want to if you want to put your luggage in the back, that's fine, as long as it's in the trunk. And then if you want to have some stuff with you, usually I have my camera bag with me, but always put that down on the floorboard in between your legs. Don't have it up on a seat or anything like that, because you can have people on motorcycles that ride by and a window might be open or something like that. They ride by, they just grab it and they take off, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So make sure you have it down by your feet. That way, if anyone does come, you can at least hold it down so they can't grab it from you and take off. So it's just something else to think about. Okay, the 8th thing I want to talk about is you've gotten to the hotel now. So we've taken the cab, we've gotten to the hotel, and when you get to the hotel and you go to the front desk, don't give your full name. So you can give your first initial, last name, or what I do is I just have my passport, I'll have my itinerary with my confirmation number on it. I'll just slide that to them, and then they'll go ahead and take care of me. I don't like giving people my name. I don't want people to know, like people from the outside listening. If someone's listening, I don't want them to know my full name or anything like that. Plus, they might know that you're an American or that you're a tourist, but you don't have to just put it all out there. So if you don't say anything, you just kind of go in, you say hello in their language, and then you just slide them that information. They're not really going to know. People that are standing around aren't really going to know what the situation is. Okay, another thing, once you get into your room, you want to check on the back of every door, you'll have the emergency evacuation. That's the first thing that you want to check. So you go in, so you know your surroundings, you know where the exits are, the fire exits and all that. That's very important, because if something does go down, you want to be able to know, okay, I can go right out and go to my left, down a few doors, and then I'll be at the emergency exit. So you want to know that. That's the first thing that you look at when you go into your room. Okay, number 9. Now that you're in the hotel room, what you want to do is you want to have emergency clothes. So I'll have a shirt, some pants, and my shoes ready to go. And I'll put my passport in there and any other important documents in the pockets. So if there's an emergency and I need to get out really fast, I can just grab those things and go. I'll usually have one credit card in there as well. I have several different credit cards, but I don't carry them with me everywhere that I go. So I'll just have them in my little emergency setup there. So if anything goes down, I can take off in a moment's notice, and I still have access to money. I'll have my passport and any other documents, important documents that I need. Okay, and so number 10. So number 10, I just want to talk about once you've gotten to the hotel and now you want to go out for the night, you go out to dinner or what have you, go to a club or something. There's certain things that I do. Okay, the first thing, as far as my dress, I don't dress flashy or anything like that, so you don't have to wear your jewelry, expensive jewelry and watches and all that, so I won't do that. As far as camera equipment, phones, I like to keep those in my pocket if possible. If I'm carrying a camera, I'll have it in a camera bag, but I have discreet camera bags that you don't really know that they're a camera bag, so I'll do that if I want to bring my cameras. I've gotten to the point now where I will bring cameras, but a lot of the cameras are small enough to fit in my pocket, so I have something, but it's not anything that's really, really noticeable. Now, some of the other things that I do, as far as people, just being aware of people. So if I'm walking, and this can happen when you go to different countries, you have to understand our comfort zone in the U.S. is a little bit, we have kind of a level where we're comfortable. You go to different countries and they can get real close to you. So you have to be aware of that. And it doesn't mean that they're trying to do something, assault you or anything like that. That's just what they're used to. So you could be walking down the street and you have someone walking really close behind you. And in the U.S., that's kind of a sign of something going down. But in other countries, that might not be. But what I'll do is I'll turn to them, make sure I get eye contact with them so they know that I know that they're there. And you can always pull off to the side and let them go by and then continue walking. Other things, common sense, you don't want to be out late at night by yourself in dark alleys and things like that. If there are people around, then you're generally probably going to be okay, but you still need to be aware of your surroundings. Also, when you go to bars, clubs, even restaurants, make sure you're watching your drink, okay? And don't tell your friends, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to the bathroom. Can you watch my drink? Don't do that. Because your friends might watch it a little bit, but they might not be. Okay, it's not their drink, so they might not be really worried about it. They turn around, they look. It's just enough time for someone to slip something in that drink, and then you come back and you drink it, and now you can be a victim of something because someone slipped something in your drink. So make sure you watch your drink. And drinks, you can buy another drink, okay? Or you can finish that drink, go to the restroom, and then buy another drink, or take the drink with you to the restroom. You can do that. I'm not a big fan of that, but I'm just saying it's not worth it. It really isn't. And you have some real, date rape drugs and things like that are out there where you just pass out and you can be taken advantage of. They'll take your money and everything that you have. So just be aware of that. Don't ever leave your drink. I can't say that enough. Okay, so that's my 10 tips, and I totally understand that there's certain things that you can't avoid, and we've seen some things in the last few months, incidents where you can't really avoid it. But you can be aware and hopefully get yourself out of some certain situations. And if you do some of these little things, it'll give you a little bit of time to react in certain situations, or you'll have clothes ready to go so you can just take off at a moment's notice if you need to. So different things like that, and you'll know where to go. So let's say you are assaulted. Where do I go? Where's the nearest police station? Oh, you know what? It's right around the corner. I can go to the police station right there. Or I'll know how to call 911 or call whatever number, emergency number that they have there. So different things. I mean, just preparing yourself will set you up. So if things do go down, you'll kind of know what you can do to remedy those situations. So that's all I have for you. But if I've missed something, please post it in the comments down below and we'll talk about it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.